Okay, Coach, from the start of the year to now, you're about halfway through the season. Why don't you tell us about how the season is progressing for Cardinal basketball?
Yeah, I think we're really pleased with where we are at the midpoint. We're 15 games in. We've got 15 left. I think everybody, you always would want to win a few more games maybe than you have. Certain plays you maybe wish you could get back that would make a difference. But I think all things considered, we knew we'd have a very young and inexperienced team coming in. We had only had a handful of guys that had played for us before, a lot of new faces, or a lot of returning guys that maybe hadn't got significant minutes in past seasons. Right now, I believe it's 5 of our top 7 or 8 scorers are freshmen and sophomores. So I think when you put all that together for us, for us to be sitting at 5-4 in the conference, we're in 5th place behind 4 teams that are in the top 25. I think we're in very good position. We're competing with a lot of very high caliber teams. We've had some nice wins against some teams like Northwestern Ohio and Goshen, and then we've had a couple of disappointing losses too. So kind of everything you'd expect from a young group like we have.
Coach, is there a highlight that stands out from the first half of the year for you?
I think it would probably be the win at Goshen. That's our probably best win of the year. It was on the road. They were 9-1 coming into that game, and a top 25 caliber team. And we had struggled 2 games prior to that. And I can remember after we lost that second game, talking to our guys in the locker room that Goshen could either be a really bad or a really good game for us because we were going to continue to face some of the things that we had struggled with. I think in the back of your mind you think this might not be the best game for us to play right now. Maybe you'd like to play a team that's not quite as talented as Goshen was and get some confidence. But we started the game very flat. We went down double digits in the first half, and then we made a great comeback. Ended up winning the game, scored 85 points, which I think is tied for the most we scored this year. So that was definitely a very good win for our young group. It's helped kind of get our confidence going as we've been in a rough stretch in our schedule. We played 6 of 7 on the road at one point, that game being one of them. And after starting 5-1, now we're at 8-7. So I think that win helped steady us a little bit through a very rough December.
Leadership is such a great dynamic in teams. Tell us about how leadership has evolved from the start of the year to where you are mid-season on your team.
Yeah, our 3 captains, we have 3 seniors, Tyler Smith, Austin Elam, and Joe Remstead. That's one of the things I've talked to them a lot about. It's probably the thing I might be the most proud of this group, that for how many minutes we graduated last year, how much scoring we graduated last year. We lost both of our captains. They were both 1,000-point scorers for us. We lost 3 senior starters and another senior that had played a lot during his career. Even starting from our very first game, Andrew Patrick came to the game. One of those captains that had left, and said it was great just seeing it's the same team out there. Everything's still the same. And I think those 3 guys have done a great job of, despite there being a lot of new faces, and again, even some older veteran guys that maybe hadn't played as much, getting inserted into the lineup. The amount of newness this team had for our program to still look and feel the same. That's a credit to those 3 guys, because those 2 guys have done a great job kind of passing on how we do things.
All right, you've got Davenport coming into the Cardinal Nest tomorrow night. They bring an awful lot to the party. What are your plans to welcome them?
Well, as you said, they definitely are going to pose a tough challenge. Along with St. Francis, they're probably one of the 2 best teams we've played up till this point. Dominez Burnett's tremendous, and he's defending National Player of the Year. We won't play anybody as good as him until we play him again later in the season. But regardless of who we play, it's usually about us. I mean, we've got to defend, we've got to keep the ball out of the middle, prevent penetration, and we've got to execute offensively. So it's one of the ironies, I think, of what we spend a lot of time doing and take a lot of pride in, is that we do spend a lot of time preparing for opponents, and we do have very individualized game plans. But at the same time, at the end of the day, whether we're playing Davenport or we just played Dearborn, or the game coming up this weekend with Marygrove, our effort, what we have to do, has to stay the same. We think if we do what we're capable of, we can beat anybody on our schedule. We've shown that over the last 2 years with some of the wins we've got. But we always remind our guys we also have some bad losses in there, and we can lose to anybody that we play. So we'll certainly have our hands full on Wednesday. But in terms of I guess a mental approach, it's just another game for us, and we've just got to do what we do well.
When you look at where the team wants to be at the end of the season, what are the areas of growth that you see that have to happen for you to realize that potential?
I think we've started to see some of those. A big one is consistency, and I think a lot of that comes from having a young team. You know, a lot of our key contributors right now are either just had just finished playing high school basketball last year, or maybe only a year removed from that. And there's some major differences between college and high school basketball, and I think the biggest one is just how hard you have to play on every possession. And so that's an area we've started to make some progress in. You know, I think in a lot of the games that we've lost, they've been games where we've outplayed teams for the majority of the game, 30, 35 minutes. And then we've just had these letdowns that have allowed teams to either get back in the game or extend the lead. So I think if we continue to get better in that area, we'll have a strong finish to the season. And I think, offensively and defensively, just tightening some things up, it kind of goes along with that. I mean, we've had some really good offensive games and some really good defensive games, but we haven't really put that together and played a complete game yet. And for us to have a winning record and be where we are and feel like we haven't played a really good game yet, I think is a sign of our ceiling, but also at the halfway point, a sign of we got to start putting it together a little bit.
All right, Coach. Good luck tomorrow night. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go ahead and stop.
Okay.